Well, welcome to today's 3D print. This shouldn't be a day 3D print. This is a 7 or 8 day 3D print. Attempt number 1. Nozzle drove itself into the dragon neck. My only guess is the dragons turned violent and the printer decided it had to put them down. So the printer murdered that one. And then the printer murdered this one. It almost got the head form. There's actually more on here. It broke off, but again, the nozzle drove down into the print and trashed it. I think I'm going to have to go back to the settings I was using on this model versus the final model, because I have a little more. I'm trying to get rid of the zits, and the change I made them worse. This is a 400mm tall Aria Dragon. This one, I believe I actually solved the Z-drop problem. My suspicion is it was the stepper motor cable going into the stepper, that the connection was not 100%, so every now and then that connection would let go, and of course you depower the stepper, gravity pulls the gantry down, and it's not good for your print. But this one I had layer problems, and that was actually my fault. The Print and Z surface skin that I use, I didn't want to attach it to the print bed, so I just clipped it down. Problem is it's too flexible, so it allowed this to move too much. It was firmly attached to the print bed, but the flexibility allowed this to flex and move, and so much as even touching it or bumping into it would cause a layer deviation. And so that, I believe that would have been a successful print. So finally, on the 4th print, it succeeded. It just finished last night. And she fell over. And here it is. Finally got Aria the Dragon to print. Nothing to do with the file, it's all my printer. This particular file just happened to be really bad for the issues that were wrong with my printer, and I have now fixed that. And so my next print will be Adelinda. That's a 75-hour print. Yeah, that's going to take a while. And I even use multiple processes to allow me to use a lot less infill. So that's going to take a very long time, and that's going to be in this amazing filament. This is by 3D Solutech. Okay. This filament is $21.99 a kilogram on Amazon, and it is drop dead gorgeous. It is some of the prettiest filament I've ever laid hands on. It does have some issues. One issue is that if there is any defect in your print, it is amplified by this filament. Defects that, for example, on the Sorceress disappeared in the blue have neon signs around them on this. Not bad, doesn't ruin the print, but it will amplify print imperfections. The other problem with this filament, very brittle. It does not take a whole lot to crack this filament. Oh, here we go. I'm cracking it down here. Now, big objects like this you're okay with, but the layer adhesion is not that great. Any defect in a layer, and you will probably break it on that layer. Now, the actual part itself is pretty strong. Like this, I'd have a tough time breaking. Like, I can't just break this. Like that I can. Probably another layer defect. But that took quite a bit of force. But any thin parts, any vase prints, anything with thin tips on it, this is pretty brittle. On not the plastic. The plastic isn't brittle. See, I bend that fine. Look at that. Okay, it's the layers. It doesn't adhere to itself as well as it should. That bit me. Bad dragon. The layer adhesion is just really bad. It does seem to be a little bit better at 220, so I'm running it a little higher than rated at 220, and that does seem to help a little bit. I mean, it's fine for stuff like this, but if you were to drop this on a hard floor, you would probably break the wings, and you'd probably break her neck. So just don't toss it around like a normal PLA model that you can beat up. Be a little gentle with it. But beyond that, it's worth it for this mind-blowingly awesome color. It's got this metallic, super shiny, silky sheen to it. Look at that right there. The whole model has that. This is the green. They have 5 colors: green, blue, hot pink, white, and yellow. I'm going to do Adelinda in the blue, and I'm going to do the Moon City in the white. So that should look very, very cool. But yeah, this plastic is nice. I've already bought another roll of green since I used an entire roll of green to print this. I got a little bit left. I could probably do another, about that much more of this with the green that I have left. So I'll print a couple other things with the green, but definitely, and that's not the filament's fault. These problems have nothing to do with the filament. That's all my printer, which I hope is now fixed. But beyond that, stunning. Give you some close-ups there. Look at that. I love this plastic so much. I wish they'd make more colors. I really wish they'd make more colors. I wish they'd fix the structural integrity, because I want to make rockets out of this stuff. But when I make a rocket, it has to be a single perimeter with no support and no infill. It has to be thin and light to effectively be a rocket. And single perimeter vase style prints are what this filament does not work well for. It's too brittle. Not brittle. It's not brittle. It's very strong, as you saw. Layer adhesion is really bad. So if they could fix that, that would be amazing. But for decorative prints like this, go to town. Stuff is absolutely amazing. And you need to either fix your zits, or you need to, these zits are almost, I almost can't even feel them. They're barely there, but boy, do they stick out on this plastic. See them? They really stand out. Or just make sure the zits are someplace that, like the edge of the wing here, where you won't see them. Like here, I got a whole bunch right here. I'm just jumping back and forth from wing to wing. So, there's fine. You can just scratch them off. And you can get rid of those imperfections they hide in the details. And but beautiful, beautiful filament, and so cheap. $22 a kilogram for an exotic filament like that. I love it. I have one of every color. I haven't tried their other filaments, but I'm going to keep one of each of these colors in my inventory at all times for anytime I'm in the mood to print something cool like this. So, next up I have a Drowdy that I'm printing on the new Duplicator i3 I just put together last night. Well, used. I suspect the gentleman who sold it to me had a problem because he did not tighten up the X gantry. I tightened up the X gantry and it's working just fine. I have a leveling video up, so I actually go through the entire process of actually leveling the printer, so be sure to check that out. And if I could figure out how to do it, I'm going to attach a time-lapse to the end of this, of the Adelinda. I got about the top half of it in time-lapse in theory. So, in case I get it to work, as a homage to Joel Telling, since I love his videos, time-lapse. Go.